morning, boys and girls. Welcome to our online learning. I hope you guys are excited about this week because there is a lot of paragraph writing. Right, I hope you guys are safe at home. Now, let us start with today's date. What day is it today? Today is Monday. Today is Monday. What date is it today? The date today is March 30th, 2020. The date today is March 30th, 2020. Our objective for today is we will practice our paragraph writing. I know you guys enjoy paragraph writing because we get to write in paragraphs. And we are in grade 2 and we're already writing in paragraphs. Wow, that is super nice. Okay, so what are we going to need for today's lesson? Just two things, your pencil and your notebook, okay? You're just going to need your pencil and your notebook. Okay, so before we start today's lesson, remember, in front of you right now, you have the story that we were doing last week. Our title was, What are they doing? What are they doing? Okay, this was the story that we read last week, and whatever we're going to do this week is also going to be based on this story. So I want us to read the story at least 2 times, and then we will carry on with today's work. Okay, are you ready? All right, let's go from the top. Let's read together. What are they doing? Ben and Bob play catch. Susan reads by a rose. Pete kicks a ball. Jim blows his nose. Josh jumps rope with a water hose. He needs dry clothes, and so does the Pope. Let us read it again one more time from the top. What are they doing? Ben and Bob play catch. Susan reads by a rose. Pete kicks a ball. Jim blows his nose. Josh jumps rope with a water hose. He needs dry clothes, and so does the Pope. Okay, this was an interesting story because it was telling us about what these kids were doing outside. What are they doing? Okay, you can even make your own story by just looking at that picture. Okay, so when you're free at home, you can just have a look at that picture and make up your own story and have your own words. That would be very nice. Okay, so now I want you to write the date and the objective in your notebook. I want you to write today's date and the objective in your notebook. You may begin. Okay, you must be done now. Right, so what are we going to do today? Today, we will read and write our past tense verbs, okay? And we will practice our paragraph writing. All right, so firstly, we are going to read our past tense and present tense verbs. Okay, so these are our past tense verbs and our present tense verb. Let's read from the past tense verb. Where. And the present tense verb is are. The second one is played. And our present tense verb is play. Our third word is kicked. Our present tense verb is kick. Our fourth word is blue. Our present tense verb is blow. Our fifth word is jumped. And our present tense verb is jump. Our next word is got. And our present tense verb is get. And our last word is read. Sorry, our past tense is read. Okay, read. And our present tense is read. Okay, read. Take notes. If we are saying the past tense of read, it is read. Like the color red. Okay, I read my book. But right now, let us read together. That is our present tense. Okay? So don't get confused with the spelling. It is spelled the same way, but we pronounce it differently based on the tense. So your past tense is red, like the color red, and our present tense is read. I read the book. I read the book. Okay? Let us read together. Let's start from the top. Our past tense verb. Where are. Played, play. Kicked, kick. Blew, blow. Jumped, jump. Got, get. Read, read. Okay? Let's read it one more time. From the top. Where are. Played, play. Kicked, kick. Blew, blow. Jumped, jump. Got, get. Read, read. Okay, so now I want you to write these words in your notebooks. Okay, I want you to write these words in your notebooks. You have 5 minutes. You may begin. make sure you space out your words. Okay, make sure you space them out properly and that your work is neat. Okay, your time is up. Right, so those were our past tense verb and our present tense verb. All of these words, all the words that are in the second column on the right, the present tense verbs, are taken from our story that we read last week. Okay, so now let us have a look at our homework. This is the homework that you got over the weekend. Can you see the past tense verb and the present tense verbs? Yes, so it's the same thing. Right, so let's start reading from the top. I hope you guys notice that this is a paragraph. Okay, this is a paragraph, and at the beginning we can see that this paragraph is indented. Okay, and then let us firstly just count our sentences. Sentence number 1, sentence number 2. Remember, a sentence starts with a capital letter and ends with the full stop. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 sentences. Okay, let me show you how I got those 5 sentences. Sentence number 1 is, many people were outside at a park. Okay, that is sentence number 1. Sentence number 2, Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and a baseball mitts. Sentence number 3, Susan read. Remember, past tense verb. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. That is sentence number 3. Sentence number 4, Jim had to sneeze so he blew his nose. And sentence number 5, Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Okay, remember we said the opposite of wet is dry. Okay, the opposite of wet is dry. So this paragraph is indented. All the sentences start with the capital letter and end with a period. And we also have how many sentences? We have 5 sentences. Remember, we said a paragraph must have 4 to 6 sentences. And all paragraphs must start with the capital letter and end with a period or a full stop. And that sentences must have a verb and a noun. And lastly, our paragraph must be indented. Okay? Right. So, let us read from the top. I will read and you are going to listen. And then we are going to read together. Right, let's go. Many people were outside at a park. Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and a baseball mitts. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. Jim had to sneeze, so he blew his nose. Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Okay, let us read together now. Many people were outside at a park. Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and a baseball mitt. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. Jim had to sneeze, so he blew his nose. Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Okay, so now what I want you to do is I want you to read the Chinese translation at the bottom so that you get a better understanding. You have 1 minute. Okay, very good. Now I want us to read with details. Okay, so this is our paragraph. Sentence number 1. I will read and you are going to read after me. Many people were outside at a park. Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and a baseball mitts. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. Jim had to sneeze, so he blew his nose. Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Okay, so let us look at sentence number 1. Many people were outside at a park. Where is our past tense verb? Okay, outside is our compound word. Remember, whenever we see a compound word, what do? We put a rectangle around it. Okay, at is our preposition. Sentence number 2. Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and baseball mitts. Played is our past tense verb. With is our preposition. And baseball, glue, ball is our compound word. Sentence number 3. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. Read is our past tense verb. By is our preposition. Kicked is our past tense verb. Sentence number 4. Jim had to sneeze, so he blew his nose. Had is our past tense verb. Blew is our past tense verb. Sentence number 5. Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Jumped is our past tense verb. With is our preposition. And got is our past tense verb. Okay? So those are our words, and we have identified all of the past tense verbs, compound words, prepositions. Okay? Right. So now, before we start with the most exciting part, remember we said today we are doing our paragraph writing. So let's quickly just go over the paragraph writing rules. Rule number 1. Every paragraph must have 4 to 6 sentences. Rule number 2. Each sentence must start with a capital letter, big letter. Rule number 3. Each sentence must have a verb and end with a period. Rule number 4. You must indent every paragraph. Okay? These are our paragraph writing rules. So now, the fun part, our paragraph. So this is our paragraph. What I want you to do is, I want you to copy this paragraph into your notebook. Okay? Copy this paragraph into your notebook. I will give you 7 minutes. Okay? I will give you 7 minutes. It's the same thing that we were reading before. Okay? Right. You may begin. don't forget to indent your paragraph. Okay? Make sure your paragraph is neat also. You have 1 minute left. Okay, you should be done. All right, so let us read our paragraph for the last time. From the top. Many people were outside at a park. Ben and Bob played catch with a baseball and a baseball mitts. Susan read by a rose while Pete kicked a ball. Jim had to sneeze, so he blew his nose. Josh and the Pope jumped rope with a water hose and got very wet. Okay, so that was our paragraph for today. That was our paragraph for today. That brings us to the end of our lesson. I hope you guys, and I know you did, enjoy this lesson because you love paragraph writing. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.